Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be building a music player using Python. So let me show you how the application looks like. So here's the GUI. So we have our previous button, we have our pause button, we have our play button right here, we have our stop button if you want to stop the song, we have our next button, and then we have our repeat button. So you can make the song go into one loop so the song only plays. And then we have our mute and unmute button right here. We have our volume slider, and then we have our progress bar. So when the song plays, the progress bar correlates with the song, so it moves as the song moves. So that's working well. And then we have our label right here. This label shows us the title of the song when the song is playing. And then we have our display here to show the time. So we also have a help menu right here. You have our exit button, so you can click it. It asks you, are you sure you want to exit the music player? So we don't want to exit. No, continue playing. So and then now here, click here to load the music. You just basically click there and then you load the mp3 files or .ogg files that you want to play, since we are using Pygame as our player. So we can select there, and then now let's play our song right here. So I found these songs on Ben Sound on Google. So that's basically it. So we can adjust our volume, and then we can increase, and then we can pause. We can go to the next song, just like that, and go back, and go back. So what? Let me show you something. Once we hit if there is no other song, it will ask you to please. You will get an error showing that there is no song. So that's basically it. So let's start building. It has a very large code base. So let's begin. So let me just pause that one right there. Then let me close. So first you'll need to install these libraries right here. So the first library is Pygame. So you need Pygame. So you just go to your terminal and then do pip right here. Let me just increase this one right here. Pip install Pygame. So I have it already installed in my setup. So you also need pillow. So we'll be using pillow for images for one of the background image. So not so many images. So the background image that I have right here, this one. So what else? We'll be using also mutagen. So mutagen will help us in getting the time of the song, the duration, basically the duration of the song. So basically those are all the things that you need, the packages that we need for the application. So once you're done with that, you can just do that, and then now let's begin. So let me just adjust right here so that we have a larger terminal right there. So now let's begin. So we need to import Tkinter. So Tkinter is the GUI framework that we'll be using. So let's do from Tkinter. Let's import everything, and then we'll need to import Pygame. Also we'll need to import the OS library. So the OS library will help us moving through directories. So that's basically what we'll be using it for. So we also need some threading. Tkinter is a very slow GUI. It's a very slow framework. So from time to time I use threading to help with the lagging of the application. So we also need to import time. So from mutagen.mp3, let's import mp3, and this mp3 right here is uppercase. So mp3, like that. So let me just change that to uppercase. What's wrong with this? So from Tkinter again, we also need the file dialog that comes with Tkinter. Let's import ask directory. From Tkinter again, message box. So as you saw in the application, we have some messages that show up once a condition is not met, or so we'll be showing some messages for the application. So that's why we need this ask question and show info. So that's all we need. And then from Tkinter, we will import ttk. From pil, we will import image and image tk. So pil is basically the pillar library that you installed. So then we'll create a class right here. I'll just call it player. Let's initialize our class. Init. So self, and then we'll set it to master. We'll do self master equals master, just like that. Then we'll create a function right here to start our Tkinter main loop. So we'll do root equals tk, and then we'll do ua, and then we'll pass our player right here. We'll close, and then we'll pass root into the player class, and then we'll do root main loop, and then we'll do if underscore name equals main. So I just added more than I need right here. So it's also underscore main. And then we'll run our main function just there. So when you run that, you'll have our small window right here. So now let's set the geometry. So that's basically the size of the window. We'll also set our title, the title for our application, and then we'll configure our background. So we'll do that right here on our main function. So we'll do root.geometry, and then we'll do, so what's the size we want for our window. So I went with 963 by, so that's x 470. So 963 is our width, 470 is our height. So we'll also do a plus 200 and then plus 100. So that those are the positions. When you do plus 200 plus 100, those are the positions on our window that we want to set the application. So we'll do root title. So what's the title we want for our application? So it will be just an mp3 music player. So you can name it anything you want, so it's up to you. And then we'll do root.configure. So what basically configure means, you can set the background of the application. So that's why you use root.configure. So we want to set it to black, And then now we don't want our window to be resizable, since we're using place it's not that responsive. So width equals 0, and then height equals to 0. So basically we can't resize our application. So now let's run that and see. So we have a larger window, and as you can see here, the resize button is disabled. So we are done with that. So now let's go right above here, and then now let's initialize Pygame. So we'll do Pygame dot init. So I'm not a master of Pygame. I started learning it just a while back, but the application is working well, so that means I'm up to something. So Pygame init, you need that, and then you write Pygame mixer.init. So now let's make an icon for our application. So we'll need a function. So let's do get icon. So we'll do self dot win icon. So that's just a variable name, don't worry about it. And then we'll do photo image. So that's the widget for taking care of our images in Tkinter. File equals, so what's the file, and then we give it the name of the image. So my image is right here, so this image right here. So you can just get any image. So let me do rename, and then I copy the path right there, and then just I put right here, just like that. And then we'll do master dot icon photo. Yeah, icon photo false, and then we'll set it to self dot win icon, the variable name that this one right here. So and then we'll do define icon, and then we'll do threads equals to threading. So basically this other function will run this function above here, so that we don't have lagging on our window. Dot thread. So we'll run this at a different thread, since Tkinter is single threaded. So we'll do target. So what are we targeting? Get icon, that function, and then we'll do threads dot start, and then now we can call our function. So icon, let's run that. Our window should have an icon, as you can see right above here. I don't know if you can see it well. Right above here we have a small icon, so that works perfectly. So that's how basically you can create an icon for your window. So now let's create some variables right here for the player symbols. So for this, I'll just have to copy and paste them. So they are quite a lot, but don't worry, you will just know them by their names. So we have our play symbol right here. So I found these symbols online. You can go and search on YouTube, on Google, not YouTube, on Google. There is some page known as emoji something. You'll just find the symbols. So we have our play symbol, our pause symbol, our rewind or forward So we have our stop, also our stop symbol. We have our unpause symbol. We have our mute symbol. We have our unmute symbol. So when it's unmute, and then we have our volume mute. So these are two variables that I created. So basically, as you've seen on, let's say, a player like VLC, so the volume starts from, let's say, 0 to 100. So basically on Pygame, it starts from 0 to 0.0 to 1. So 1 is the loudest. So we go from 0.1, 0.2. So as you increase, the volume increases, just like that. So that's why I created these variable names. So when I mute the song, it goes back to, that's why you see here, volume mute 0.0, and then volume unmute equals 1. So that's why I use those two variables for muting and unmuting our songs. So now let's create our list box. So basically this is our list box right here. So let me run the main application right here. So here is where you'll see our songs. Once you have loaded the songs, you'll see them here. So let me just load it once more so that you can see. So right here we have our list box where you can choose a song right here like this, and then you can play it. So that's what we'll be doing next right here. So now let's do this. So you can just write a comment, list box. So let's do, so our list box has a scroll bar. So that's why we'll create first a scroll bar. So list scroll self.scroll equals to scroll bar. We'll be using the scroll bar widget in Tkinter. So we'll use scroll bar, and then we'll set it to master. So self dot playlist equal list box. We'll do master right there, and then what do we want our font to be? So you can set it to any font that you want. So I'll just do sans serif. I'll do a 12, and then it will be bold right there. I'll do a border width of 5, and then I'll just go to the next line. So I'll do a BG of white. So I forgot a comma right there, just like that, white, and then I'll do a width. So this is the width of our list box, so it will be 37. We'll also do a height. What will be a height? Our height will be 19. And then when you select the song, so we are doing select background. So once you select a song, what do you want to see in the background? So that will be black. Just like that. So let's move this right about, just about there. So now let's place it on our window. So it will be self dot play list dot place. So we want to place it on 600 on our x-axis. So x equals 600, and then we do y equals 77. So let's do self dot scroll dot place. So we want to place our scroll bar. So scroll dot place. So we'll do x equals 946, yeah, and then y equals 80. let's set the height for the scroll bar. So that will be height equals 389, and then we'll also do a width of 15. So now let's set it that so that the scroll bar only works on our list box only. So how do you do that? You just say self dot scroll dot config, then we'll do command equals self dot play list dot y view, and then we'll do self dot play list dot config, and then we'll also do y scroll command equals to self dot scroll dot set. And now let's see if that works. Let's run it. So we have a scroll bar right here, so you can see if it's working once we start loading the songs. So that works. So now let's create a background image, so like we have on our main application. So let's just go right here. So we'll do file equals, and then we'll set here our string name. So what's the file name for the image? So we're just gonna be using the image that we use for our icon right there, and then we'll set self dot image, or let's do back image equals to image dot open. So now here's where we'll be using the pillow library. So file, and then we'll do self dot back image. So let me just make it to snake case right there, equals to self dot back image dot resize. So we want to resize the image. So how do we do that? We just do 600 by 470. So we're basically changing the size of our image, and then we do image dot anti-alias. I don't quite remember what this anti-alias did, but you can check it on Google. So self dot image equals image tk dot photo image, and then we'll now pass the background image right here. So self dot lab, let's just do img label. So we'll be placing our image on a label, so that's why we create this label right here, and then now put it on our window. So we'll be using the label widget right there, and then we'll pass master, and then self dot img label again dot grid. So now we'll be using our grid manager. So far we have been using place, but here we'll be using the grid manager. row will be 0, and then column will also be 0. And then now let's say self dot image label will do compound, right there, and then we'll just set it to left equals left. The left is uppercase, so check on that before getting any errors. Label again, and then we'll just pass image right here, and then what we want to get, so it will be just self.img. So now you can run that and it should have a background image just like that. So our window is coming along quite well. So now let's just continue. So we have a background image and we also have our list box working. So now let's go to our title. So we want, when we load a song, we want to see the title of the song. So when it's playing, you can see the title on our window. So now that's what we'll be doing next. So we'll just do self.var. So what do we want to get it as, the variable that name as, so that we'll be using our string var. This is another widget on Tkinter, and then let's do self.var.set. So this will be our initial value. So if we don't have anything on this title label, so this will be just empty, right, just like that. So that will be the initial, but when we load the song, we'll be changing it. So let's do self.song title equals label, and then we'll also set it to master. We'll do a font. So what do we want our font to be? So we'll do here Helvetica 12 bold, and then we'll do a background of black. So the theme of our application basically up here, as you have seen of now, will just be black and white. So that's the theme we're going with, FG, but you're not limited to use any other color that you love, so that's up to you. So the foreground, we want it to be white, that's FG, and then we'll do a width of 60, and then the text variable, what do we want to set on our label? So that's what the text variable right here. So we'll just set it to this self.var, just like that. And then now let's place it on our window. So it will be self.song title.place. We'll do x equals 3 and y also equals to 0. So we want to place it on 0 on our y-axis and 3 on our x-axis. So now let's run that. That should be on the top right here. So that works well. So now we can do our buttons. So I think we should start with the buttons, and then now we can build we can write our functions for each button. So let's do right here. So let's do self dot menu. So as you noticed, we have our menu. So the menu is where we have our exit and our help buttons just above the screen right here. Let me show you where the menu is so that you can see. So here is our menu, exit and help, exit and help. That's our menu. So that's what we'll be creating right here. So self.menu equals the menu widget Tkinter and then self.lab. So we'll do. So we already created the. Oh yeah. So where do you want it? So that will be on top, right, on our image label. So image label menu, that's menu. Then where do you want to place it? So image label. So it will be just above our image label. So let's set the font equals Helvetica 3. So master.config that will be menu equals self.menu. Let me just write that right there. Or config. So we also do self, so adding the buttons to our menu dot menu dot add command. So that's how you add buttons to your menu. So label equals, so what's the label for that button? So we have help, then self dot menu dot add command, which will be also label equals exit. So I think that should work fine as of now. Yep, so we have our exit and our help right there working. So we'll be adding here command for when you click that button, what do you want to run? So that will run a function. So that's what we'll be doing. So self separator separator. So we want to create a line to separate our, so like the HR line that you see on HTML. So this basically works like it. Says image label. So basically most of these elements we're placing them on our image label. So now let's do orient. So I forgot to put a comma right there. Orient equals horizontal. Let's run that. So, oh, we haven't placed it on the window. It will be self dot separator dot place, and then rel x equals 0, and then rel y equals 0.87. So this is basically like when you use x and y axis on when you're using other elements. So for this separator element, we use rel x instead of just x. So I forgot to add it right here, the widget name. So separator, and then we'll do a rel width, so that will be 1, and also a rel height will also be 1, just like that. So I think that now should work well. So as you can see just below here, we have a line that separates creates just a separation. So that works quite well. So now let's do our buttons. So the first button will be the play button. So let's do self.play equals button, and then we'll do self.master, and then we'll do text equals, and then now the variable name that we created just above for the symbol play, and then we do a width of 5, we do a border width of 5 also, and then we do a background of black. Let's do a foreground. So let's just put a comma right here after the background, and then the foreground, what do we want our foreground to be? So foreground will be white, and then let's do our font will also be Helvetica, and then we'll just set it to 15, and then now we'll later add a command right there. So self.play .place, so x equals to 150, and then y equals to 415. Let's run that. That should work. So we now have our play button right here. So that works well. So self.stop which equals to button self.master. So it's basically the same thing right here. So you can just copy the play and then you just rename it. So stop, and then the text, for the text you just write stop as the variable name above. So everything else is the same, and then now placing it's different. So we want to set the position of x equals, so self.stop place. So where do you want to place it on our x-axis? That's 225. Yeah, 225, and then the y equals 415. So that should also work well. So the next button is going to the previous song. So we'll also copy this, and then we'll just change the right here. So we'll just name it prev, and then now here will be. So what did we name our variable name above? So it was rwl. Oh, so now let's just rename this to prev, and then next, just like that. So when you come just above here, so this will be prev, so that will get that symbol that we want for the previous button. So where do we want to place it? So it will be 300, and then y 415. Let's run that. Yo. Oh, okay. So for the previous, we want to place it. We don't want it to place it. We want to place it on our left. So now let me just see where we placed it. Yeah, so this should be 10, and 415 is good. Yeah. So there's where we want our previous button. So let's do the next. Right here, also the same. So for the next, we want it at 300, and then let's change the symbol. Next, the variable name self.next. Next, just like that. So that works well. And then we also have our mute button and our pause button. So let's do for the pause. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just copy pasting so that I don't have to write it all, because all of them are the same. They have the same font, they have the same width. So this is button pause. Yeah. So let's rename right here, pause, and then pause. Just like our variable name, and then where do we want to place it? So we'll place it on our X will be 85, and then on our Y will be 415. So all our buttons are on the same line. So it's coming along quite well. So that's for the pause, and then we have our mute button. So let's do mute right here. Let's just copy that. Let's paste it right there. So where do you want our mute button? So X will be 430, and then Y will also be 415. So this will be mute, also mute, and then right above here we'll just do mute and mute. Just like that. Yep. So we are remaining without one button. Yeah, the what the repeat button. So if you want to repeat the song, so So that also will be right here. So let's do repeat. Also repeat. So where do you want to place it? So we have the symbol for the repeat. So that will come here. Let's remove the text from unmute to our symbol. And then where do you want to place it? 375. And then on the same line on our y-axis. So let's run that. That should work. So as you can see right here, we have our repeat button. So that works well. So we also have our, what's the next button? Playlist, label playlist. So we want to load our playlist. So that will be the next right here. We're loading the playlist. So now let's just put it there. Then we have the text. Let's change the text. Let's rename it load music. Load music. Just like that. We want it at 605 on our x-axis, and then we want to place it on 45 on our y, so it will be right on top. Let's run that. You should see it right here. So for that we need to change our width to 43. Our border width still stays at 45, and then our font will change it to 10. So what else are we changing? Just like that. That should work. So now let's run that. Yeah, as you can see here, we have a button. So once you click this, you'll be able to load your music. So that works well. So now we'll have our volume slider, and then now the progress bar. So first we'll need this. So that we can style our slider. So self.style.configure my style dot horizontal dot t scale. Then we want our background. Equals to, then we have here our value, the color that we want. So that would be hash 505050. So that's some grayish color. So now let's set self.volume slider equals ttk. So guys, and this code I'll be posting it on GitHub. So you'll find the code on GitHub. Self. So we want it on our image label right there. Image label, and then we'll do from. I want it to start from 0 to 1. Orient. So you can, the orient means where do you want it to be, to it can look horizontal, and then there is vertical. So we want it horizontal, and then the value, to set our value right here. So I forgot a comma. The value equals 1 was the length of equals 120. Let's do command. No, as of now we don't have the function, so we'll do the command later. The style equals my style horizontal dot t scale, and then now let's place it on our window. Place. So x equals to 0, and y we want to set it at 385, just like that. So now when we run that, we should have a slider. So it's in the wrong position, so I need to change that. So 475 by 424. Let's run that and see. Yeah, so as you can see, we have our slider right there, and it works well, so that's good. So I don't know why the styling is not working quite well, so we'll just look at that in a minute. So let's first set the progress bar. Progress equals ttk dot progress bar. Also this will be self dot image label, then orient. Also orient this horizontally. Value equals to 0. We want a length of 453, and then let's do mode equals determined. So we have determined and undetermined, so you can check that on YouTube, on Google. I keep forgetting the two. So self, so let me just trace that, progress dot place, the x equals to 0 and y equals to 385. So I think now we have our progress bar, so that should work. Yeah, as you can see, the progress bar right there. So I think we have with our placing, so that works quite well. So what's next? So I think we have all our buttons that we need as of now. So let's run that and see. We have our previous right there, right there. So all the buttons work quite fine. I think I should change the placing of so I don't think they're quite. Oh, okay. Well, let me just change. I think it's the width. Yeah. So 2 for the, what's first for the play? Yeah, the width is 2 for the unmute, and then button next will be 4. Yeah. For the unmute right here, should be 2. Let me run this and see. And then play all, what's the width? Right here. 3. So for the repeat button, the width was 3. And then for the, let's run that first. See. Yeah, that's coming along well. And then I think for the play button, it should be 4. Let's see. And let's just do 5. Then for the next 4. For the play, let's play with the width. Placing. Let's run that first and see. So I'm just playing with the sizes so that they fit well on our window. Right here, let's do 160. See, on the x-axis. Yeah, so now they look quite well. So that looks good. So now let's work on our functions. So now we have all our buttons right here. So now let's put our label. So we want to see the duration of the song, and as it plays we want to see the counter. So we'll do self label time equals label. So the label widget right there. We'll do master, and then we'll do text equals. So we want to see this text if the song is not playing, and then we'll do a width of 17 for our label, and then we'll do a font of Helvetica. We'll just 10. We'll do a background BG of black. And then we'll do a foreground FG. I'm just putting the commas in a minute. Let's do white. So just put a comma right there and there. Then we'll just say self dot label time dot place. Then we'll do x equals 460 and y equals 387. So now we should have our duration. So right here. So that works quite well now. So that looks good. So what else are we forgetting? So I think as of now we have everything that we need for our window. Yeah, we have everything. So we should also have another label right here. Yeah, we have another label right here. So label self dot label playlist equals label, and then we'll set it to master. We'll do a text. Also found this like MP3 symbols online, so you can find them on Google. So width equals to 43, and then we'll do a BD of 5, a font of Helvetica, and then we'll do 10. We'll do a background of black, then we can just do a comma right there. Let's do a FG foreground of white. Let's do a comma. Now let's place it. So it will be self.label playlist right there, the place. So x will be 610 on our x-axis, and then y equals 5. So we can run that and see. So we have it right here. So now let's just remove the background right there and the foreground. Let's just add our width to 15. Let's run it. See, so we can just remove the width and the border width. Now let's run that and see. width equals to 31. Let's run that. So we have a window right there. So the only thing remaining is just adding our functions to each button, and everything now should work well. So we'll just put our buttons. So let me just do this right there, and then also do a comment right there, and then now let's do our functions. So we have a lot of functions for the application. So the first function is to get the songs and then append the songs to our playlist. So we'll do define add songs. We'll do a try, and then we'll get a directory. So directory, that's a variable, and then which will be equals to ask directory. So this helps us in opening our window. So and then we pass directory. So this helps us to change different directories. This is from the OS library. So chdr. So and then we'll do song list. Will create a variable right there equals os dot list directory, and then a variable right here dot reverse. So what basically reverse helps us with, it's a built-in Python function. So it helps us with making the song. So once we load the songs, the first song will be at the bottom. So we want the first song to be on the top. So that's why I use the reverse. So song in. So now we loop through the songs in song list. Position equals 0. So I want to start at position 0 if song dot ends with. So I'm putting a condition. So I only want MP3 files. So I don't want images or anything else loading on our list box. So that's why I'm putting this condition. So it will be self dot play list dot insert. So now we insert it on our list box. So POS starting from 0, and then the song that we got, and then POS plus equals 1. So we keep adding. So index equals 0, and then we'll do self dot play list selection set, and then index. So we want, once we load the songs, we want the song to be active, so that you can click the play button. You don't need to select it. So and then again we do self play list dot c, also the first song, so that's index 0 self dot play list dot activate, so that's also index, and then we'll do self dot play list dot selection anchor, and then that will also be index, that just like that. And then accept. So we want, if there is something wrong, we want to show an error, so that's why we imported show error. So these are message dialogues from Tkinter. So we'll just get this, and then we'll say file selected error, please choose a file correctly. So now we have something, we have a function for adding songs to our playlist. So we'll do define add songs playlist. So now we'll add some threading again to our function. So threads equals threading, again thread, and then we target, what are we targeting, will be a function, so that will be add songs, and then we just threads dot start. So now we have our function ready for adding songs. So now we get the time, so that's why we created our label for checking the duration. So we'll be define get time, so we'll do it right here, and then we'll do current time. We'll create a variable right there, equals pygame dot mixer dot music dot get pause, and then we multiply it by 1000, and then we do formatted time, another variable name. So we want to format the time by hour, minutes, and seconds. So what we'll do will be time dot str f time, and we'll do here. So we'll have something like this. So it will be percentage hour, percentage h, and then and then we have a colon, percentage h colon capital H, percentage m colon, and then percentage s. So all of them are uppercase, and then we'll do time. So comma right there, dot gm time, and then we'll pass the current time that we got from pygame, and then next. 1 equals to self dot play list dot cursor selection dot car selection, not cursor, and then we'll do song equals to self dot play list dot get, and then next one, and then we'll do song timer. Then now here as well, I'll be using the mp3 from mutagen. Then we'll pass the song, and then do song length equals integer, then song timer dot info dot length, and then format form length equals time, and then we'll also do it as we did it above, so it will be right here, song length and then we'll do self dot label time dot config. So once you have done all of this, you have set the we have already formatted the time and everything. We're going to set it to text equals, then we'll do a f string right here, and then now we set off. So for this gets the length of the song, and then this gets the time, formatted time, and then formatted length. So this gets the length of the song. So let's say it's 2 minutes and 61 seconds and 3 minutes 45 seconds, and let's say 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So it gets that value. So it will be 0, 3, and then 2. If it's 1 hour, it will be 1, 3, and something just like that. And then the formatted time. So the length will move with the song. So let's say, so here we get the full time, and then here we get the length. So the time that as the song, that let's say it's 1 second, 2 seconds, just like that. So it keeps moving, and then here we get the formatted full time of the song. So self dot progress, we want to set our maximum. So now here is where the progress bar will start moving, and then will be song then length, and then self dot progress. We want to set our value, so here it will be value equals int, and then the current time, and then master dot after every hand get. So we are setting it after, so the function will be running after that time. So it is in seconds. So now let's put our play function right here. So it will be try track equals to self dot play list dot get active, and then pygame dot mixer dot music dot load, and then we'll pass our track right there, and then we'll do self dot var. So now we'll be changing the variable that we created, and then we'll be putting the name of the song on that label, so the song title label right there, and then we'll just do pygame dot mixer dot music dot play, and then now we'll run our get time function. Get time, we'll call our get time function, so accept, and then we'll also show an error. Let's just put it there. So no music, please load. So if it finds there is no music on our list box, it will show us an error. So now let's put our repeat function, define repeat. So if you want to repeat a current song for as many times as you want, here's our function. So just put our try block right there. So index, we'll set our index to 0. We'll do self playlist. So we want to get our song from the playlist. Select clear, 0 to end, then we'll do self playlist, select, set, selection, index, last equals none, playlist again dot c, then index self dot playlist dot activate. So we want to activate the current song so that it can be active. Index 0 also, and then let's do self dot playlist dot selection. So it's selection anchor, then we'll do index. Now let's find the song, the current, the track. So track equals to self dot play list dot get index, and then pygame dot mixer dot music, and then we want to load it. We want to find the track, and then self dot var dot set. So we want to set the label on our label right there, the track, and then pygame mixer dot music dot play. So now we are playing the song. Then we'll do current song, so that should work. So that should repeat the song, and then accept. Will return just an error. So if you don't get a song, it will return that error, and then define repeat and then we'll also do some threading there. So we'll do threading dot thread right there. Our target is our repeat, and then threads dot start, just like that. And then we want to do our pause and unpause button. So it will be define pause and pause function, not button. So we'll set a condition if self dot button equals, we want to check the text. If the text equals to the pause symbol, because it's an if statement, we want to do pygame mixer music dot pause, just like that, and then self. So what do you name our button right here just below? Let's find, yeah, it's pause, so it's correct. So self.pause, and then we want to change the text again, equals and pause. If then want to check if it is unpause right here, unpause, and then now we want to change the text to pause, and then now Pygame mixer music, and then we want to change it to unpause. So that should pause and unpause the button. So master, so we want to bind this button to a key on our keyboard. So we just do master.bind. So which button do you want to bind it to? So it is the space button. So I'll just do space, and then we'll do a lambda, and then x. That's not for the unpause. That's a binding for our pause our play button. So sorry guys for that. So define play thread. So now let's add a thread for our play button. So here it will be threads, then equals threading dot thread. Then we want to target our play music button, our play music function, not button. So then we'll do just two threads that start. So lambda x, and then the play thread. So now we can use space to play and to play our songs. So now let's do stop, define stop, pygame mixer dot music dot stop. So that's basically it for the stop function. So define volume. So we'll pass a value right there, which will be x, then pygame dot mixer dot music dot set volume will be self dot volume. So we'll be using our slider right here dot get, just like that. So that's why we set a value to our slider. I think now you get it. So the next function is the mute, and the mute and unmute. So it will basically look like the pause and unpause. So muted. So if self dot mute, then we also want to look at the text. So what's the text telling us? Equals unmute. What do you want to do? Pygame dot mixer dot music set volume to volume mute. So that's basically return the volume to 0. That's how we mute the song. And then we do self volume slider dot get dot set so we also want, when you click mute, we want the slider to also move. So that's why we are setting it to the volume mute, so it will return to 0. So it will start from the left. So that's basically what you're doing here. Self.mute, then we'll do right here. So we want to change the foreground to equals to red, and then also we want to target again the text to equals to mute, and then we're muted to equals to mute, and then now we can write an elif statement. So it will be self dot mute. Again, we check the text equals to mute. So we want to do just like above, but change some values. So it will be pygame mixer music, and then the set volume to the volume value that now we have on our mute, and then now set volume slider to the volume mute. So that will be 1 when we now unmute it, and then now here we want to unmute just like that, and then we want to change the foreground to white. So that looks good. So what's our next function? So now we want to go to the next song and then to the previous song. So these functions look the same, so I don't think they have any difference. So once we write the next function, we can just copy and paste to the previous but to the previous function. So let's do next. So So it will be next one equals to self dot playlist dot car selection, just like that, and then next. So we want to get the next song, so that will be next one, and then index 0 plus 1. So we're adding 1. So if you're on index 0, we'll go to 1. If you're on 1, we'll go to 2. If you're on 2, we'll go to 3, just like that. Then song equals self dot play list dot get next 1. And then we'll do pygame music dot mixer dot music, and then we'll load that song, and then we'll do pygame, so play dot mixer dot music, then now we play the song, and then we'll do self dot play list dot select clear, zero to end. So this clears the values that we had for the previous song, and then now it activates the song that we are currently on, self dot playlist activate, and then next one, and then self dot play list again, selection set, and then next one. Then we want to set the last to equals to none, and then now the title for the song, var dot set song, and then now we want to get the time. We want to run our get time function, then run that, and then we'll do self dot play list dot c, and then next one. So that should work now. So now we can write our thread right here, define next threads equals threading dot thread, and then we do our target equals to next song, and then threads. Let's start. So now we have our next function working. So you can just copy everything. We'll just change one thing right here, and then just place it just right there at the bottom. So instead of next song, we'll just write prev song, and then we'll change this to prev for the threading, and then we'll just change the target to prev song. So let me just put it above here so that you can see what I'm doing. So here next one, so this next one variable on the second line of the prev song function, you just, instead of plus, you minus. So if you're on index 3, when you minus, you go to 1. So that's basically what will be changing for that, and that function should work well. So now we have our previous button, our previous function, we have our next function. So the next thing we'll do is to bind. So we want to bind the going to the previous song and going to the next song to the left click and the right click. So for the right click, it will be going to the next, and then for the left click, it will be going to the previous. So now let's bind it. So it will be self dot master dot bind, and then now we'll just do left. So that's for the left click, and then we'll set it to lambda, then x, and now the function, just like that. And then now we can just copy that and just change it right here, and then you can do right, and then you can do next for the function. So basically, when you click on the left click, we've bended that button. You'll go to the previous song. When you click on the right click, it will run our next function. So that's basically it. So now here we can write our exit function. If you want to exit the window, so message and then box equals ask question. So we want to get a prompt, something like a prompt right here. So this will be the message. So you'll be asked, exit the application. Are you sure you want to exit the application? And then I will write a condition. If msg box, so that's the message box, equals to yes. What do you want to do? Master dot quit, and then master dot after, and then now you can exit. You can run that function. Else, and then we can just show info. Return, continue playing your awesome music, and then I will just return, just like that. So now we have our exit function. So now we can create our help menu right here. Our help menu function, define help. Then what we'll do, we'll use top level. So top level is a widget for creating new windows. So if you're creating an application that has multiple windows, you might want to be using top level. So top level, and then top dot title, but this will be help, and then again we can just set the size for our new window. So that will be the geometry. So let me just raise that just above there. So I want the size for this to be 350. by 554, and then plus 500, so that's the position, and then 80 plus, so that will be plus, and then now I want to set it to, I don't want it to be resizable, so I'll just do a width of 0 goes to 0, and a height of also 0. So we'll just create a variable right here, and then I'll create a list of the things that I want to put, to set the user manual, and then I will place all of these to our label. So equals, so I'll just copy everything right here because they are just so much stuff, right? Just like that. So music player, user manual, and then I used a break, a line break, that right there. So just like that, and then I'll loop through so that each one will be in its own line. So for, and then I'll place it on my label for I in user manual, just like that. And then I'll just do manual equals to label, and then top, what do you want to place it on our window top, and then text equals I, and then width equals 50. I'll do a height of 3, and then I'll do a font of Helvetica 11, and then I'll do a background of black and a foreground FG of white, and then I'll do manual.pack, so we want to pack it on our window, manual.pack. So this is our last window element that we use to put widgets on our window. So as you have seen, I've used grid, I've used place, and now we are using pack. Then fill equals both. So we are filling both the X and the Y axis. So now that should work. So now let's add our commands on our buttons. So the first button here is help. So we can just put help command. So that's how you run a function on buttons. So command here will be help. The command for this, the exit. Command for play will be play music. Play. So what's the variable name right here? Let me just see. Oh, play thread right there. And then command for stop. This will be just be stop. Yeah. Command equals priv, and then the command equals next. So that's for the next button. We'll just do command equals pause for the pause button. So where is it? Let me see. We have pause and unpause right here. And then command for mute will be just mute the function, or muted. That's the function name. Repeat. So command for loading the music. So that will be add songs to playlist. So for volume slider, command will be volume right there. Don't think we have a command for our progress bar. So now let's run that. So we have an error right here. So where is it coming from? Lambda x priv. So I think it's from our bindings. So let's just see. So this should be uppercase, not lowercase. Uppercase, just like that. So again, we have another error right here. Let's just see. So it seems that command. So guys, we just wait a minute. I'm trying to figure out what's the problem. So I think everything should work. Okay. Let's run it. So this is the main application. So it seems like we have a bug right here on this thread. Start something, target, next. Oh, right here. So that I think that the problem, yeah. Oh, okay. I see where I was wrong. I see where I am wrong. Somewhere we're running our command in our place in a place. Yeah, here is where we the whole problem is coming from. So instead we just have to put it right there. Yep. So our application, guys, is running well. So sorry for that. So now let's run it and see if it plays our music right there. So we have loaded the music. So everything works. So the song plays, but we can't see our progress bar. So that's the only thing remaining. So now let's just see. So I think the problem is in our get time function. So that's where I think we are doing something. And is it loading the name of the song? So let's just see. Yeah. So it's just the slider and the timer. Okay. Oh, value, the value right here. We forgot about that. Let's run it. Let's see. I think now that should work. Maximum current time, get time. So now let me just change the get time function. I think that's the function that's having a problem. So let me just change it just a little bit right here. As you can see, guys, the application works. So that's basically it for this video, guys. So that's how you can make your own. As you can see, the pause button works. We don't have a previous song, so that won't work. Can go to the next song. So that's basically it, guys, for the application. We can mute the song. We can unmute. That's basically it. So thanks for watching, and stick out for the next video. So please subscribe and hit the bell icon. See you on the next video.